Hello and welcome to sportingways.com. My name's Thomas Rooney and once again I'm joined by Joe Rooney. And today we're going to look ahead to the Wimbledon semi-finals. They take place on Friday. Yesterday we looked at the ladies semi-finals and now, as I say, it's time for the men's. Two cracking semi-finals lined up. And the first of which is Novak Djokovic versus Roger Federer. We're going to talk about that one to begin with. First of all, what a fantastic semi-final to look forward to. Ridiculous, two of the best players in the world, with the exception of Rafael Nadal, who's kind of the number 2 player. We'll talk about Djokovic to begin with. Simple question to begin with: can he be beaten?
I think he can, but he doesn't look like being beaten at the minute, does he? I think he's almost breezed to this stage of the competition. He's dropped sets here and there, but never really been under any threat. He hasn't started brilliantly in a lot of them, but he's gone on to win the first set, and
He's never been in any danger of going out, has he? I think in the last game he with a couple of rain interruptions, he maybe started slightly slowly, but then he just completely stormed it when he's on form. And another thing I want to talk about with Djokovic, he seems that he's got a decent relationship with the crowd, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Do you think it's remarkable how relaxed he appears? Even though he's focused, he just seems ready to relax and enjoying his tennis. And considering the pressure he's under as the number 1 player in the world, as the defending champion, that's quite remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he seems a lot more relaxed now he's winning titles, which is a bit different, because I think before he was sort of winning, he didn't seem the most interesting bloke with respect to him, but no, he's always having a little joke with the crowd, isn't he? And he looks just relaxed and just ready to go on and win another tournament.
And obviously he's aiming for his 6th Grand Slam title in total, because he was 25 years old. He can, it's not exactly revolutionary to say that he can go on to be one of the best players that's ever played the game, if he isn't already.
Yeah, definitely. He's up there, isn't he? And he only had, going into 2011, he actually only had 1 Grand Slam to his name, which just shows what an incredible... last couple of years. Last couple of years he's had. Okay, but he takes on Roger Federer in the semi-final on Friday. We'll talk about Federer. If Nadal's the king of clay, Federer's the king of grass, he does the same. It's kind of remarkable he's won here 6 times, and we're very lucky to see a player like him sort of in this generation, and particularly in England at Wimbledon. Yeah, definitely, and especially with the opposition he's come up against, because this really is a golden generation for men's tennis as well, isn't it? So, he hasn't exactly... He's been up against Nadal for the majority of it, so to beat him this many times is really something.
You say that though, but he hasn't won at Wimbledon since 2009, so since Djokovic and Nadal have come to the fore properly and sort of been completely the force, he hasn't done it at Wimbledon. And he's 30 years old now, so arguably his chances are running out, and he'll think that he really needs to prove to people that he can still beat the likes of Djokovic at this stage of a major tournament. Yeah,
I think this could be one of his last chances. I don't think he's going to have a better opportunity to do it with because he looks in good form, doesn't he? But I think this could be his real chance to do it again.
You say he's been in good form. He had 1 scare, didn't he, when he's 2 sets down?
Yeah.
But in terms of the quality of opposition, he hasn't been tested anything like as much as he will do on Friday. So he's probably got to raise his game more so than Djokovic has going into this one, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think we're still expecting to get into this stage of the tournament, because if you look at the opponent Rafael Nadal came up against in the second round, you'd have said that was relatively easy opposition, and look at the performance he put in. So, you can only beat what's put in front of you, as we know. So he's done well to get to this stage. Okay,
we'll go for a prediction on this one. It's Djokovic versus Federer, the men's semi-final on Friday at Wimbledon. I think it's going to be Djokovic. I can't look beyond him. I think he's just the man to beat. I've said throughout the whole tournament, look, watching him, no one's going to beat him, and I think that will remain the case. And I think Djokovic will win in 4 sets against Federer.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you a bit. I just think Federer, this really could be his year. It could be his last chance. This is the one he's really going for. It's his favourite tournament. I can see an absolute thriller, if I'm honest. I think he may even come down from 2 sets down, but I think he's going to do it in 5 sets.
Okay, the second men's semi-final at Wimbledon to look at is British number 1 Andy Murray versus Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. And this takes place on Friday as well as Djokovic versus Federer, so a cracking day lined up at Wimbledon. And we'll talk about Jo-Wilfried Tsonga to begin with. He's powerful, he's popular amongst the crowd, and it's good to see him in the semi-finals. I think he's the type of character you want in this stage of competition.
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously with Nadal going out, this was his real opportunity, and he's taken it. He's come up against some tough opposition so far, but yeah, it's good to see. He's a very entertaining player to watch, and he's a good character as well, I think.
And it is, as much as it's, you like the Djokovic, Federer, Murray, Nadal, the top 4 players, it is nice to see someone different in there. He's 27 years old. He's had 1 Grand Slam final before, but that was in 2008. But this is his second successive year at the Wimbledon semi-finals. Do you think maybe he's found his home sort of on grass and in the atmosphere of Wimbledon, which he clearly enjoys? Yeah, I think he likes the grass, and he likes the crowds that come with Wimbledon as well. I think. And sort of 27 years old surprised me a little bit. I thought that
he was maybe a little bit younger than that. Because this is coming to be really in his peak, isn't it? This is his chance.
I was going to mention that in his peak because he's against someone like Murray who he would consider as beatable, despite the fact that the home crowd will be behind him. This is a fantastic chance to get to a Grand Slam final. And will he get another better chance? Obviously he will, because he's a very good player. But this is as good a chance as he's going to get, I think. Yeah,
it's not going to get much better than this. And he's only got sort of 2 or 3 years of his best tennis to come, I think. So I think this is the real chance for him to go and do it.
Okay, and Andy Murray. Obviously, we mentioned about him yesterday briefly. He got through against David Federer, and sort of in a tough battle, which we predicted, and that was the case. He got through in 4 sets, but it was another classic example of Murray sort of getting the job done when he needs to. His class has shone through when he needs to. He's been ruthless when he needs to, and to get to this semi-final 4 years in a row, given the expectation, given the fact he's the only guy we've got, massive credit to him. And no matter what anyone says about him, he deserves huge credit.
Yeah, I think it goes unnoticed somewhat. Cause I think a lot of people say he's only made it to the semi-final and sort of focus more on the fact that he hasn't made it to the final.
Yeah.
But look how consistent he's been, the entertainment he's given, and he was great in that last match against Federer. Going a set down, which he did, which is always tough, but then he bounced back and he doesn't let the occasion get to him, does he?
No, his recent record against Tsonga is very good, so he'll take that on board into this one. But if anything, it just adds the expectation already on his shoulders, doesn't it? So he's got to just think this is a one-off match. He'll consider himself the better player and the person who can sort of get the better of his opponent. But the expectation is there again, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think this will be his toughest match against Tsonga that he's ever had. Cause I think Tsonga's in sort of the best form of his career that he's been in. He's looked very, very good so far. And Tsonga's kind of almost gone, not unnoticed so much, but he hasn't been on sort of like the big courts a lot of the time. So he's just sort of quietly gone about his business. And, he knows Tsonga can play with the pressure off him completely.
Okay, just final thought on Murray. He can't fall at this hurdle again, can he? I think I could take it, let alone if he could take it, because he should be playing Rafael Nadal. You would have thought that's not happening. So the expectations, as you said, but surely he can't fall at this hurdle again.
Well, no, of course he could, but I don't think. I think he's going to do something good here. I can just see him getting into the final.
Okay, we'll go on that note. We'll go for a prediction on this one: Murray versus Tsonga. I think it's going to be Murray. I think it's going to be, I don't think he's had a 5-set thriller as such yet, has he? So I think it's going to be this one that goes the whole way. It could be, sort of 10-12 in the final set or something like that. I really think it's going to go a long way because this sort of Wimbledon's been about that, and I think there'll be a classic match like that to come. So I'm going Murray in 5 sets.
Yeah, I think Murray's going to do it as well, and I actually think he's going to do the same sort of victory again. I don't think he's going to get off to the best start. Might lose a tiebreak again, but he's going to come back, bounce back, and win the next 3 sets. So I can see Murray in 4 sets.
Let's hope so. Come on, Andy.